Hello and welcome to the Adobe Twitch channel at twitch.tv/Adobe. My name is Terry White. Terry White? It's a Friday. Terry White, worldwide design and photography evangelist for Adobe. It's my pleasure to stream to you live for the next couple of hours here. And with that said, for those of you who are watching this later as a video on demand or a YouTube video or however you're watching this later, note that this is a live show that I do every Tuesday and Friday from 10 a.m. till noon here at twitch.tv/Adobe. So since it is live, there are people in the chat live that I'll be talking to throughout the broadcast. So if you're saying, well, who's he talking to? I'm talking to the people in the chat. For people that are watching the video on demand on Twitch, you'll be able to actually see the questions and see the chat that happens now that those are part of the video on demand. For those of you watching on YouTube or anywhere else, I will try to repeat the question whenever necessary and whenever possible. So there are some shout outs that I've done already. Hey, Elsie Finch, what's going on? I've already talked to, I think, everyone else I saw before I started this. So good morning, everyone. Let me explain a little bit about what we're going to be doing today. So today, it's actually going to be a continuation of what we did on Tuesday. So for those of you who missed Tuesday, we started out doing mobile apps, and I did a little bit of Lightroom Mobile just to set the ground floor of where the images would be coming from. Then we jumped into, we spent a good deal of time going through Adobe Spark Post extensively. And then we went into Adobe Comp CC to kind of compare and contrast the difference between layouts for social media in Spark Post and layouts for everything else in Comp CC. I think we ended with sending the business card that we designed in Comp CC back to the desktop, and it opened up in InDesign. And then, of course, you can do whatever you want to do with it in InDesign, Photoshop, Illustrator, or Muse, whichever way you send it back to the desktop. Today, I'm going to actually start off in an app that I always run out of time before I get to. So I won't run out of time, I'm going to go ahead and start with it. And it's one that people have requested, and it's one that I haven't done in a while. And it's video editing with Adobe Premiere Clip. Now, Premiere Clip is available free of charge. It's a free app you can download for iOS and Android. So it's a video editing app. It will let you edit stills. If you're just a photographer and you just say, hey, I want to create a video slideshow, and I just want to use my still photos, you can do that. You can have it freeform edit, which means you're picking and choosing which clips go in which order, how long they are, where they stop, where they start, so forth and so on. And you can put sound and music to it. Or you can use the automated or automatic editing, which will basically, you pick a song and it will cut your video or your stills or your video and stills to the beat of the music. You can use either way. So that's what we're going to start with. Then the other app that I ran out of time to get to, I think we'll go to this one next, and this is Adobe Photoshop Fix. That's the other one that I've been dying to get to and just keep running out of time because I keep showing the other things and spend too much time on them. So we'll start in Premiere Clip. Hopefully we should get to Fix. And if we get past Fix, I've got some other apps to continue to show. But mobile apps are fun. They're free to download. You don't have to be a Creative Cloud member to use them. However, if you are a Creative Cloud member, then you get to take advantage of all your Creative Cloud assets, like my Lightroom photos and all that, are available in the app. But whether you're a member or not, you get to continue using it. So with that, yep, Victoria, I agree. Photoshop Fix is one of my favorites as well. It's probably one of the ones, besides Lightroom Mobile, that I use probably the most, besides Lightroom Mobile. And Spark Post and Spark Page. So those would probably be my top four. All right, let me grab the iPad. I'm going to do this on the iPad Pro, even though I could do it on the phone because the iPad Pro is bigger, just a bigger screen, bigger experience. So let me switch over to where you guys can see what's going to be happening, what's going on here. I'll switch over to the iPad display, And this is my iPad Pro. It's live, so I'm just swiping back and forth now so you guys can see that it is a live display. In the bottom right-hand corner is my Adobe folder on the dock. That's where I keep my Adobe apps. And I'm just going to tap on it. And that'll bring me to the apps that I use, the ones I use the most. So there are lots of Adobe apps. All of these are free. None of these are paid apps. And most of them, or all of them, are available on iOS, and many of them are available on Android as well. So Creative Cloud's on Android, Lightroom's on Android, Photoshop Mix is on Android, Adobe Premiere Clip's on Android, Capture's on Android. So those are, I believe Adobe Illustrator Draw's on Android too, if I'm not mistaken. But those are the ones on Android for sure, and there are always more coming. And Victoria just posted the link to the bit.ly/mobile apps Adobe link, and that will show you what's on what. So with that said, let's talk a little bit about Premiere Clip, and I'm going to walk you through how to get started with it. Then we're going to back out, and I'm going to show you how you really want to get started with it from a photography standpoint if you want to use images. Now, everything that you bring in the clip, whether it be stills or video, can be rearranged, trimmed, cut down the way you want. And if for example, you're bringing in a video that already has sound, you can turn that sound down. You can use the royalty-free music that's built in, or you can use your own music from your library. So you can do it either way. Do they have as many features as the desktop version? No, the mobile apps don't have as many features, just like your mobile devices don't have as much horsepower. So it goes hand in hand. You don't have as much RAM, you don't have as much storage space, you don't have as much processor speed, you don't have GPU as much on your mobile devices. So your mobile apps are limited to what the device can do. Just like your desktop apps have been programmed and modified and taken advantage of the latest and greatest processors over the last 20, 30 years. Mobile apps are still fairly new, and we're only now just getting to the point to where the mobile processors are starting to get robust enough to do more things. So no, Premiere Clip is definitely not a replacement for Premiere Pro on the desktop. There are literally thousands of things I can do in Premiere Pro on the desktop that I can't do in Clip. But so that's where one of them has a feature Photoshop does not have. Oh yeah, by the way, and so Pearly Cream Cheese says, but one of them has a feature that Photoshop does not have. Forget which one. Yeah, there will be features, like a specific feature that may start on mobile before it makes its way into the desktop. A prime example of that is Photoshop Fix. From day one, had face-aware liquify, and it wasn't on the desktop until just recently. The latest Photoshop on the desktop just got that feature. So it started out in Photoshop Fix last year. So, but that's just one feature. That's not, all of Photoshop was in mobile first and then made its way to the desktop. So yeah, there will be times where the mobile team does something that inspires the desktop team and vice versa. And that's a good thing, actually, because in a lot of cases, it's maybe better or easier to try it on mobile first, see where people like it before you throw it into a professional app and disappoint people because it's not a professional level feature yet. So that was a prime example. Yeah, sometimes the mobile apps are like beta testing. That was a prime example of testing a feature first on mobile and getting the kinks worked out before moving it to the professional version. That has happened also in apps like Photoshop Elements. Photoshop Elements from time to time has gotten features before it made its way into Photoshop on the Pro side or in Photoshop CC, because the consumers are a little less or are a little more forgiving of something just kind of being okay versus the professional saying, nope, it's got to be perfect, it's got to be top notch, it's got to be professional. So a lot of things get worked out in the mobile or consumer versions first before they make their way into the to professional versions. And that's actually a good thing. Okay, so with that said, and for example, Premiere Clip, the one I'm going to start with, has a feature that's not in Premiere Pro. The automated from scratch, create a video and sync it to a music track. That's not in the desktop version. There's a way to do it, but it's not as automated and not as one click as or one tap as it is on the mobile device. So now I just need an iPad Pro. Yeah, Adobe Photoshop Sketch, and Victoria is an expert at Photoshop Sketch. Matter of fact, we might go to her site and show some of her work since I'm not an expert. But if I get to Sketch today, we'll talk about that as well. But yeah, so that's kind of how I kind of spent a lot of time answering that one question. Are they as full featured as the desktop apps? No, because the mobile devices aren't either. Are there features that will sometimes be in mobile that aren't in the full version of the desktop version? Sure, and vice versa. And I think that was everything I wanted to answer. Okay, would you mind browsing through the apps? It's easier for you to go to that website and browse through the apps. So, Victoria, if you can put that link up again, you can go through and browse on your own. So let's go ahead and go to Clip. So launch Clip. And this is kind of the layout for the mobile apps in general. Like with the exception of maybe Lightroom, they all kind of have this same interface where you're looking at your projects in the middle. On the left-hand side is usually a plus sign to start something new. And depending on the app, you can look at what others have done in the community. Now, Premiere Clip puts it at the bottom. Some put it on the right-hand side, so you scroll all the way to the right and you see the community projects. So if I tap on community, this will just show me, and this is loading it in over the internet, so it takes a second on my connection. But this is just loading in some samples that people have done or posted and said, I don't mind this being in the community gallery for people to look at and maybe get inspiration. So these are videos that were done with Premiere Clip that you can go look at and see what's possible, see what others have done. So there's a time lapse in Africa at the bottom right. There's a slow burn on the left in the middle. And so those are the first two that caught my eye as interesting maybe to even peruse. Here, as a matter of fact, I do want to see this time lapse. Let's see what it looks like. All right, I expected that to be a lot more exciting than it is. Oh, there we go. There we go. Now we're starting to see some interesting time lapse. Okay, well, that's it. Someone's done a time lapse. And let's see what the slow burn is. It looks like a fast burn to me. All right, people just posting videos of things on fire. Interesting. Okay, well, so if you look at those and say, I think I can do a better video, then by all means, do one and make it publicly available so that they might grab it for the community. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my projects. And there's a project that I kind of started with right there for Iceland. And I'm going to show you, first from a photography standpoint, a couple of gotchas and how to fix them, how to get around them. Is there an Adobe Flash app or animation app, or am I missing? No, there is not. There's not a mobile app for animation that I'm aware of. So just follow that link. Whatever you don't see there doesn't exist. All right, so let's go ahead and tap the plus sign on the left-hand side. And as you can see, the first thing it's asking is, where do you want to get your assets from? So these are my choices. I can get it from the device itself, so on the camera roll, on one of the albums on the device. I can get images from Lightroom, and that's going to be one of the gotchas I'm going to talk about in just a second. If I've got things in my Creative Cloud folder, library, I don't know if it supports libraries, but if it's in my Creative Cloud assets, I can get it from there. Or if I've got things in Dropbox, I can get them from there. So I can get it from, and of course, take a picture or video right now with the device and edit that as well. So those are my choices for this particular app to where to get my assets. So let me talk about the Lightroom aspect of it. And it's actually, I think, a bug more so than something that is designed this way, because what I'm about to show you used to work. I've done videos on it working. I don't know why it stopped working a few months back, but it's one of those things I've yet to send it into the team and ask and say, hey, why doesn't this work anymore? Because I keep forgetting. And I'm going to show it now so that you don't run into this and not know why it's doing it. So let's go to Lightroom. And when I go to my Lightroom assets, yeah, I knew it was going to do that. So let's go ahead and say View Collections in the upper, that's not the one I wanted. Let's go to View Collections. All right, so when I go to my collections, let's say I want to bring in the images from that Iceland Spark collection in the upper left corner. All right, now the problem that now exists that didn't used to exist is these are all originally raw files, or they've been edited and now they're PSDs. So when they sync to Lightroom Mobile, they sync as Smart Previews. And that was never an issue for a Premiere Clip before. I could still select them. It would know how to bring them in and convert them or do whatever it needed to do for it to work. Now it doesn't. So here's what happens. Let's say I want to bring this one in. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to tap it. I mean to check it. Bring that one in, check that one, and we'll just do 3. And now I say open these 3. That's the error I get. And that error wasn't always there. It's saying, sorry, the media type is not supported, which means for whatever reason now, it stopped working with Smart Previews like it used to. Now, if those were JPEGs, they'd come right in. But I don't have very many JPEGs in my library. I have raw files, I have PSDs, I have TIFFs. And for whatever reason, Premiere Clip along the way, one of the updates broke it. And now I get this error. So that was kind of a disappointment because this used to work beautifully. I've recorded videos on tutorials on how to use it with it working just fine. And I'm not sure where, it's been broken for a while now, I'm not sure where along the way this got broken, but I'm going to go ahead and take a screenshot of it right now while I'm thinking about it so that I can report it to the Premiere Clip team so hopefully they can fix it in an upcoming update. All right, so I've done my due diligence now. I recorded that bug, that error. So if I tap OK, nothing's going to happen because it's trying to read each one. And the ones that couldn't read, it skipped. And now if there was one it could read, I can go ahead and say automatic or manual. I'm going to cancel out of that because that's useless. That's not giving me the images I want. So with that said, you've got a couple of choices. Work with JPEGs, obviously. And I'm not going to go through the trouble of going back to Lightroom, making them JPEGs, and then importing them back into Lightroom. That doesn't make sense. If I'm going to go through that trouble, then I might as well just export them out as JPEGs, which I'm going to do and do it in a specific way, and then bring them in either from the device or from the Creative Cloud folder or from Dropbox or from whatever. That would be the best workflow, unfortunately, until they fix that problem. But let me show you, even if it worked, why you still might want to go back and work on the images. Here's why. Let's do the plus sign again. And let's go to Dropbox, where I know I have some images. Yep, go ahead and open Dropbox. Yes, allow. Yes, authorize it. Yes, bring it up. All right, so let me go to a folder that I've got called Iceland. And these are all JPEGs. These will work. But here's the problem if I pick them. Let's go ahead and pick a few. Let's do that one, that one, that one. Skip down, do that one, do that one. All right, that's enough for now. Let's go ahead and add those 5 in. And see, no error, no problem, because JPEGs work fine. Now I get the choice of whether or not I want to do it automatic, which means, as you can see, Clip generates a video for you, edits the beats of your soundtrack. You can customize the pace, the music order, so forth and so on. Or you say, screw, not screw, but forget, forget automatic. I want to do it all myself manually. I want to put things exactly where I want, not necessarily to the beat. I want to trim them to exactly the time I want, or make them as long as I want. Then you just freeform, your choice. And even if here's a tip, even if you start automatic, but you want to tweak it after the fact, you can still go in and switch it to freeform and edit manually after it's gone through and done all the automatic work for you. So I usually will start automatic if I'm trying to do it to like a music video. And then if I still want to tweak it, I can. Versus freeform, where I'd have to do it completely manually from scratch. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and go automatic. And now it's downloading those 5 images from Dropbox. So it'll take a few seconds to do that. And then you'll see the bigger problem with this. Even if that bug wasn't there, there's still a problem. All right. Well, first and foremost, that's a problem. Let me go ahead and turn that off. Where are my settings? There is a feature I was playing around with that lets you watermark your. We'll go ahead and let you watermark it, but it didn't let me change the size of the watermark, so that became kind of useless. Let me close this for a second. And I don't know where you do it on the. I'm not sure where you do it on the iPad version. Okay, let me turn off that watermark. There we go. All right. So, let me close this. Here's the video that it put together. That was it. So to whatever, and I can't hear it because I'm playing it through my computer, so that, here, let me see if I can turn this up, see if this works. No. Hold on. Let's use the iPad Pro's audio. All right, now let's turn it up. Let's see if I can hear it now. Yeah, so it was quick. There was only 5 photos, and it was doing it to a fast-paced song. I'll turn that up more. But if I play it back, you kind of get the idea if you could hear that music. Let me see if we can hear it. I know it's going to be kind of faint for you guys hearing it over the live stream. But that's what the automatic editor will do. But here's the problem. Let me go full screen on it. Your photos are typically in a 4:3 aspect ratio. So bringing those photos in, even if the Lightroom thing worked, and I brought them in from Lightroom, or in this case, bringing them in as JPEGs from Dropbox, I've got black bars on the sides because my photos are not widescreen or 16:9 aspect ratio. My video is. And Premiere Clip is only 16:9. There is no way to switch it to some other aspect ratio. It's 16:9 wide. So even if you record video tall on your phone or tall on your device, it's going to shrink it down to be on a wide aspect ratio with big black bars on the left and right. So in this case, if I'm looking at this and I really want this to shine, I really want this video to look nice, then I'm probably going to go through and crop my images or size my images so that they fill the screen in 16:9. And there's an easy way to do that in Lightroom. You can even do it in batch. But that's what I would do first. So whether you're good, punish people for shooting vertical video. Yes, whether you're doing 4x3, vertical, whatever, it's if you're doing images and you don't mind the black bars on the sides, then you're done. You're ready to go. Your video's done. You can edit it now any way you want. You can change the music, do whatever you want. But if you care and you want your images to fill the screen, I'm going to show you a way to do this in Lightroom so that you can have your 16:9. All right, so I'm going to get out of full screen. Let me try one more thing first before we go back and re-edit. I'm going to delete this project now that I've turned off the watermark feature because I kind of skipped ahead. I wasn't ready to show you something just yet. And let me see if I can bring these in again. All right, so I'm just creating a project again from scratch. Tapping Iceland. And we'll grab that one, this one. We'll grab some different ones this time. This one, this one, this one, and that one. All right, add 7 this time. And yes, do it automatic. Hopefully that watermark will be off now by default. Now, while we're waiting for those 7 to download, the question would be, well, couldn't you just pinch and zoom your photo up a little bit so it filled in the black bars? No. Oh, crap. All right, so the watermark's still there. We'll get rid of it in a second, but I just want to point this out. Before we go in and turn off the watermark, which I have to go to manual to do that, what I didn't show you was this is the soundtrack that it picked by default. Whatever one it picks. So for example, if I play it, now it's a different one. And it's playing that by default. If you want to replace it, tap replace soundtrack. Yes. And you can either use the Premiere Clip themes or your own playlist, albums, artists, and songs. So that's why initially, the first thing it asked me is, hey, do I have access to your library? Because if you want to use your own music, you can. But I'm going to go to Premiere Clip Themes. And you're probably saying, well, Terry, why don't you use your own music? I'm sure you got a great song to use. But then if I want to post this on YouTube later or do something later and the music is copyrighted, then it's going to create a problem for this replay. So I'd rather stick to the music I know is not copyrighted. Or at least royalty free. All right, so I can play these songs. Now that's a kind of a low. It's kind of a mood low, a serene music track that would actually go nicely with this. That's the one I think I picked earlier. So I'm going to go with echoes for this. And then what it will do is it should re-edit the video automatically to now fit this. Now at the very bottom, you've also got pace and tempo. So you can go slower or faster if you want to speed up the pace. And then at the very bottom, you've got the ability, even with automatic, to say, well, maybe I want to rearrange the order of these stills. So I can grab one and just pick it up and drag it around and move them in whatever order I want them in. So even if you do it automatic and you say, well, it brought them in, but it didn't bring them in, it didn't bring them in the order that I wanted them in. I'm laughing at LC Finch. He said, I only have the U2 album on my phone that Apple forced on us way back when. Anyway, yep, you're right, LC Finch. That's the only music I have. All right, so now if I play it back. Now, let's say I like it, other than, of course, I want to get rid of that stupid logo that's taking up the whole screen. If I do want to bring that in, and by the way, Let me explain the logo while it's the big thing in the middle of the screen. The last update to Premiere Clip gave the ability so you could have a watermark on your video. I was like, cool, I've got my logo. It's a ping file. It's transparent. Let me bring it in. And it did this. What you would need to do it right is to create a Photoshop file that's 16 by 9, putting your logo small in the corner, wherever you want it. Change the opacity, do whatever you want to do. Bring that in as your watermark, because I just brought in the logo itself and it doesn't let me size it. That's why it's so giant and so big on the screen. But that's the problem. That's why that logo's there. And once you're in the project, obviously you can go into the settings and turn it off. So this is all automatic, and if you pretend the logo wasn't there and you were done, you can go to the share button at the top, and then you can share it, save it to the camera roll as an edited video, save it to your Creative Cloud or Dropbox, publish it, meaning host it with Adobe and get a link so people can go watch it, or send it to Premiere Pro on the desktop so that you can finish editing. Share it on YouTube, which means publish it right to YouTube as an edited video, and of course share on Twitter. All right, so I obviously am not ready to share it because I'm not finished, because the logo's there. So if I want to now go in and say, great, thanks for getting me this far with the automatic feature, now I want to go in and tweak it a little bit, like turn the logo off and maybe, do some more, move some stuff around. That's where you tap the film strip icon at the top right. If I tap the film strip icon, now I get the option to convert to the Freeform editor that I could have started with, but then it wouldn't have laid everything out to the beat of the music. So if I convert to the Freeform editor, now I can go to the settings and say, turn off the stupid watermark that I brought in the wrong way. And there it is. So now no watermark, and now I can do more. So for example, let's say I want to do more. I want to add in maybe a title. If I tap the plus sign, now I get an additional option. I get the same choices I had before to go in and, well, thanks, Eunice. I appreciate that. Thanks for the comments, Jack, on the photos. I appreciate all the love you guys are giving me in the chat. Thank you. But now there's one more choice at the very bottom. Instead of just bringing in a new image or new video or more, there's new title. So if I say add a new title, then I can type whatever title text I want. Maybe. There we go. All right, I'll just do my Iceland adventure. Notice it lets me change the text color, the background color, and turn it into a story card or duplicate it. All right, so we're just going to go ahead and tap out of that. Now, that just becomes a 5-second clip, which it just, for example, stuck it on as the second one for whatever reason. And I may like that, actually, as the second one. But if you wanted to make it the first one, just pick it up and drag it to be the first one. And now you've got your title on it. And, of course, you can put an ending title. You can put as many titles in on it as you want. And no, that was the point with the logo, is it can't be picked up and resized, and nor can your photos be. So if I really wanted to do that watermark correctly, I'd go make a 16 by 9, take the logo, make it really small in the lower left-hand corner, and then that would be it. All right, so now if I were to play this, that's the way it looks. But you notice that it starts off, and it's playing that for 5 seconds. And again, it's doing a nice thing with the stills to the beat of the music, doing a great job. But I don't want it to start off with just the title on the screen. Normally videos, we want to fade them in from black and fade them out to black, so forth and so on. So if I go to the gear icon again, there's my fade in from black. And there's my fade out to black. And if I want to even do a transition between the clips, this is a kind of one of those all or nothing. Either it's a transition crossfade between all of them, or they just cut all of them. That's it. By the way, I want to see if I turn that on, can I replace it? I got to go find where I put that in so I can get rid of it. Oh, it's in the preferences. All right, I need to go delete that watermark out of the Premiere Clip preferences. The video bumper, and Renee, I see your question. That was one of the things that people complained about. They wanted to turn it off. Before this feature came out, all your videos would end with "made with Premiere Clip," and so now you can turn that video bumper off at the end. And Renee asked, "Can you use Typekit with Clip?" Nope. The only mobile app that uses Typekit fonts that I know of is Adobe Comp CC. So you don't get your choice of fonts. Now you do get. Notice at the top where it says "Look Normal." If I tap on "Look," these are all the looks that come with it, so you can kind of put a mood on your video. We talked about this with Capture on Tuesday, and I remember we created that look. This is where you can go use that look. So if I go to My Library and I go to Twitch, which I've got a Twitch library in here somewhere. Remember these looks? Remember the looks we created? Remember we created one called Monument Valley. We created one called Mike. We created one called Sunrise. Sunrise was the last one I created on Tuesday. That will apply that sunrise look to the project. So if you want to create a look with Capture CC and apply it in Premiere Clip or Premiere Pro on a desktop or Photoshop on a desktop, that's what that look will do. So we did look, we did watermark, we did bumper. Photo motion is another fairly new feature where it's kind of doing that zoom in that people commonly refer to as the Ken Burns look. You can turn that on and off for your stills. All right, so that's it. Now if we were to go full screen on this in the upper right corner, fade it in from black, 5 seconds. And now everything has that warmer look to it. And that's it. It was short. You get the idea. So that was kind of jumping ahead, showing a bunch of things in Premiere Clip up front. Now let's back up a little bit. Holy shit. Yeah, Jack, it's that easy. It's free. Go play. Now let's back up a little bit. We talked about all the things we can do. Now let's really do it. Let's really have some fun and do it right. So we're going to close this kind of, I wanted to get your feet wet project. And I'm going to go in now. And by the way, here's the other cool thing. Your projects and the assets sync across Creative Cloud. So if you started on your iPad and then you picked up your iPhone later and said, I want to continue working on a video, and you open a Premiere Clip on your iPhone, that project is there. Or you shot it on your phone and you shot, the 12 megapixel iPhone, great video, whatever. And then you want to continue working on it on your bigger screen for your iPad. The project syncs. So that's happening automatically in the background. Do a crop on one, then sync on the rest of the photos with just the crop option selected. Okay. All right. So anyway, let's go. He's talking to somebody else. Let's go in and now take a look at getting the photos together for this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Lightroom. I'm going to, I'm in a different collection. I was like, wait, where are those from? I'm going to go to this collection where I've got all the photos I want to use. And I'm just going to go ahead and start selecting the ones I want. So I want that one, this one, this one, this one. And of course, notice I'm only picking the landscape-oriented photos because it doesn't make sense to pick vertical photos in this case, unless I just really have to use that photo. Here's another tip, by the way. If you go to metadata in Lightroom and you switch any one of these, so for example, I'll switch this one to, let's see if I can find it quick, aspect ratio. Oh, wait, all. There we go. I can then say, show me just the landscape ones. So that way I don't have to worry about picking portrait ones because now it's only showing me the landscape photos in that collection. All right, so anyway, let's go back to where I was. I want to select this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, that one, and we'll use that one, we'll use that one, we'll use that one, we'll use that one. I think I'd rather have that one, that one, that one. It definitely use the flag. We'll use the Northern Lights, and we'll use that one too. Okay, now I've got, and we'll use that one for sure. Now I want to create a collection of just these. So I'm going to create a new collection. And notice what my choices are. I'm going to create a collection. We're going to call this one Adobe Clip, or actually it's called Premiere Clip, but we'll do Adobe Clip for now. I want to put it inside my demo collection. I want to include the selected photos, but make virtual copies. And I want to sync it with Lightroom Mobile. Now, the reason I'm making virtual copies is I don't want to screw up the originals. I'm going to crop all these to be right for video. And if I crop just the virtual copies, the regular ones are untouched. So we'll create all those. And now those are in a collection all by themselves for me to mess with for this project. And they're all virtual copies. So I can do whatever I want to do to these and they won't touch the originals. All right, so what I'm going to do is select all of these. Go to my crop feature, which is in the develop module, or just hitting the letter R for crop. That's a bad joke. All right, then I go to crop, and then I go to aspect ratio, and I just go to 16 by 9. Now, when I go to 16 by 9, it will, now they're not all going to be right, so I'm going to have to go and look at each one, but I can go ahead now and crop these to my heart's content. And I know that when I'm done, these will all be the right aspect ratio for video. So I can look at each one and make sure that it's oriented the way I want. Like that one I would bring down a little bit. This one, same thing. And this is all non-destructive. This one's okay. So this is just me checking them to make sure they're okay. Like this one's too high. Obviously, I want the rainbow in there, so we'll bring that one down. All right, that one looks okay the way it is. This one is okay. We bring it up maybe a little bit more. This one had been cropped already to straighten it. We can bring that one down a little bit more. I'm reading a comment here. All right, I didn't see what that was about, but Victoria looks like she's on top of it. All right, we'll do that. And these look like two of the same photo, so I may not need both of these. That one looks okay. All right, yeah, so I don't need, oh, no, they are different. Never mind, never mind. I'll bring that one out. Oh, and see, as I'm adjusting that, it's adjusting all of them. Dude, I forgot, hang on, sorry. I need to go back. I shouldn't have them all selected when I'm making adjustments, because when you make adjustments with them all selected, by default, it was adjusting all of them. So let me go back and do it again. Sorry about that. That's why I was like, why is it, spinning? Why is it taking a second? It's because it's doing all of them. So once you have the crop in place, deselect. Otherwise, when you make an adjustment to one, it will be making that same adjustment to all of them, and that's not what I wanted. Yeah, see, now these are all too far down. Good thing I caught that, and that one needs to go back up. Okay, there we go. And this one needs to come down. And that one can go up. Deselect. Don't do it to all of them. Otherwise, you'll be making the same crop to every single photo, which is defeating what you came in here for. Actually, I do want some of that foreground. All right, there we go. This one, I want more of the sky. That one looks great the way it is, but we'll grow up a little bit. This one we can go, oh, yeah, I don't want to cut my feet off. So you do have to make some decisions with 16:9 because it is a wide aspect ratio. Okay, that one looks good. That one looks good. That one looks good. This one out the car window, we can bring it down a little bit. That one looks good. Get more of that. Get the top of the flag. And get the bottom of the northern lights. There we go. All right, so now they're all cropped. So now we go back to the library. And now they're all perfectly sized for a video window. I don't have to worry about the video window not, or having black bars on the sides or pillow box or letterboxing. All right, so now I got them all the right size, and I probably didn't need to do this. I started syncing them with I just thought about this. I started syncing them with Lightroom Mobile, but that's not really going to help me because remember, these are not JPEGs. These are PSDs. They're RAW files. They're not JPEGs. So let me just, there's no reason to sync those. Instead, what I'm going to need to do is export them out. All right, so I was just looking at a comment there. Someone's asking about past videos. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to go ahead and select them all. And I've got a preset called export for video, but let me just go to export and show you what I would do. Export for video. All right, what I would do is I would export them to a specific place. So in this case, I might want to put them in the Dropbox folder so they're ready to go. So let's go ahead and choose that folder. We'll choose Dropbox. All right, so now in the Dropbox folder, we're going to put them in a folder called Iceland Clip. All right, so now they're in that folder, ready. They'll be put in a new folder it's going to make, and they'll be ready to go. These are going to come out as whatever they're called. They're going to be JPEGs. They're going to be sRGB, which is better for on-screen stuff like web and video. The width and height, 1920 by 1080, it's going to do that anyway, but I had done this before for a different kind of project I was exporting for. 72 pixels per inch is enough. I don't need to do any sharpening. These are already sharpened. I don't really care about removing or adding the metadata, and I don't want any watermarks on them. Okay, so just go ahead and export those out. And then it should show me when it's done exporting. So it's exporting 19 files out, making 19 JPEGs that are the right size, by the way, at 1080p. And it's doing that in the background, so I can keep working. I can keep doing things while that's going. All right, let's look at the comments here. So it sounds like Laugh Haha is having an issue finding past broadcasts and asking for a search on the channel. Unfortunately, I don't know that we get to control that. I think that's more of a Twitch thing. So that might be something you have to, we just have to live with the way Twitch puts the past broadcasts in there. Okay, it looks like it's about halfway done. exporting, exporting, exporting. And I see my Dropbox sync going too, so it's syncing as we're doing this. So as each one gets dropped into the folder, it starts syncing it to Dropbox. Yeah, I usually do put my broadcast, unless there was a problem with the broadcast itself. I usually do put them on my YouTube channel at terrywhite.tv, and there's even a playlist called Terry White Live. So if you're looking for my broadcast in particular, that would be another place you can go get them. Okay, so here they all are. And the ones with the green check mark have already synced to Dropbox. The ones with the blue circle are in the process of syncing. Unfortunately, my upload speed is not the fastest, so it will take a few seconds to sync those. In the meantime, let's talk about video. We've been doing everything we've been doing with Premiere Clip with just stills, but I have video from this trip as well. Now the video was all shot on the iPhone, saved to the camera roll, even though it's been brought into Lightroom as well. But saved to the camera roll is just video off the iPhone. Oh, I take that back. There's one video from the iPhone. The rest were drone videos. Videos that I shot with my Phantom drone that I took over to Iceland. Great, these are all synced now. And I imported those videos into Lightroom, and I trimmed them. Like, in other words, the video might have been a minute long, and I trimmed it down to maybe 10, 15 seconds of the part I wanted. Then I exported those videos out, and those videos are on the camera roll so that I can easily choose them. Because even if you want to use Lightroom, unfortunately, you can't bring the Lightroom videos into Premiere Clip. At least I don't think you could. You couldn't in the beginning. I still don't think you can. But in any case, they're on the camera roll, or they could have been in Dropbox, and I could pull them in that way. All right, so let's go back to now that everything's done right on the computer, let's go back to Lightroom Mobile. And keep in mind, I know this is supposed to be like a mobile workflow, so is it really fair that I went back to Lightroom on the desktop and did my cropping? I could have done it in Lightroom on Lightroom on the iPad. It was just faster to do it on the desktop in this case, since the desktop was handy. If the desktop had not been handy, I could have accomplished all of those same crops with Lightroom Mobile. It just would have taken a little longer. And then I could have saved all those cropped images, non-destructive crops, to the camera roll and brought them into Premiere Clip. So I could have done the entire process in mobile if I really needed to. All right, in this case, let's go ahead and do plus sign again. Now we can say Dropbox for the images. And there should be a new Dropbox folder called Iceland Clip. There it is. We go to Iceland Clip, and they're all here. Now, I wish there was a select all, but there isn't. So I'll add them in one by one. That would kind of suck if you need to do 100. There should be a select all. All right, anyway, add 19. My 19 JPEGs will come in. Notice I got no errors because they're JPEGs, they're fine. And now I get the same choice. Do you want to do this as an automatic video, or do you want to do it freeform? So I'm going to do automatic to at least get the project going in the right way. And then we'll give it a few seconds to download those from Dropbox into this project, which the download should happen faster than the upload did. Then, unfortunately, for the automatic process, you only get one shot at it, meaning you only get to import into automatic to create the project the first time. If you want to add things later, you can, but it's like, unless everything was in that folder, like now I need to go back and add the videos, which weren't in that folder. Stupid. Stupid. Okay, we'll get rid of the watermark. I keep forgetting to go turn it off in the preferences. But anyway, here it is. So no black bars, because those are all now 16 by 9 stills. So if I want to replace that soundtrack, I can. Go back to Premiere. These are all the royalty-free ones. I love this one for drone footage. This is one of my favorite ones, so we'll use that. All right, let's try that one. Okay, so now that that's there, I can go here and I can rearrange, which is great, but I can also add. So if I add here, I don't get to add a title, but I do get to add more stuff. And let's go ahead and add more stuff. Let's go to the iPad this time. We're going to go to videos, where I've got all those nice drone videos, and including one that was shot on the iPhone just driving in the car. So I want to bring this one in. I want to bring, let's see, what else do I want? I want that one. 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 And definitely that one. All right, let's bring those in. Error. Oh, some files are not available. What that typically means is, because remember I said some of those were shot on the phone or added on the phone. That means they're in iCloud and they haven't been brought down to that iPad. So let me bring them in one by one, or at least a couple at a time, then I'll know which ones are ready. Unfortunately, it does not bring in the ones that were okay. It only tells me that it can't bring in the other ones. All right, let's do these two for now. See if those work. Nope, those don't work either. Okay, so let's go back out to videos and let's play them, because all you have to do is play them and then that will bring them down, or sync them down. So let's try this one. Let's play it. So that's spinning. Is it downloading it? All right, let's go back. Let's play this other one I want. This is a drone video. That spinning is letting it download. All right, now let's download it. All right, so now let's go see if those two will work now. Now that we brought them in. All right, let's go here on the iPad. Videos, that one and that one. See what happens. No, come on, I did play them, they should work. All right, let's do one. This is one that I really want, that one. All right, well, how do I get it to do it so that those videos are actually on the iPad? Let's try details. If I favorite it, no. I'm going to share it. Don't remember if there's a way for me to tell it to download that particular video. Let's see. If it plays the whole thing, it should be there. Now that spin is taking longer. Yeah, see, I can't tell if it's streaming that, or it looks like it's streaming it versus downloading it to the device. I need a way of having that video be offline. Or the other way I could do it is put it, get them from Dropbox. Instead of dealing with Apple's cloud. Let's see if that will work now. If that won't work, we'll bring them in a different way. Did it do it? It didn't complain. But I also don't see it. Nope. Okay. Let me see if I can get those videos. Here, let's do this. Let's go to Dropbox. Let's go to Iceland clip. And see if we can upload a file to it. I know this is a convoluted way to do this, but it's just telling me that those videos aren't accessible because they're technically streaming from the cloud as opposed to being on the device. So Clip's telling me, hey, you need to download these first. And the problem is I don't know how to download them so that they're available offline using the camera roll. All right, well, let's see if that works. And if that takes too long, we'll just do one and then the other way. Hang on, let me check my phone. The other way I can think about trying this is if they are actually on the phone, then I can continue editing that project on the phone. Or at least get the videos into it on the phone. All right, let's do it this way. See if this works. All right, hold on here. Let me try one more thing. I've got them here. The question is, how do I get them in the clip from here? Let's see. How big are these? Not too bad. Let's see if this works. Oh, do you think that was it at the beginning? Let's go check. Oh yeah, it did. It did bring in some. There it is. There's that one, there's that one. Okay, so I can see these all have the video icons. So thanks. Yes, that did work. I don't know what that is though. Oh, I think that was one we edited earlier. All right, we'll get rid of that one. And we'll get rid of this one. It looks like the same thing twice. Okay, yes, it did work for that one. Let me see if I can get a couple more just into that area so that we can bring them in. Like that one. Yes, it did work. Thanks for pointing that out. Yeah, we'll bring over that one. Let's see if we can get a couple more though. I was looking for it at the end, but yes, it did add it here. So that video is there. And now if I say done, it'll rework the video with that in that drone footage in. So let's take a look at what that looks like. So that's the drone footage. All right, so it worked. Oh, didn't mean to close it, meant to say done. Hold on. All right, that worked. Let's see where we are on the syncing. Still syncing 2 more. Actually, I can probably get out of the app now. Okay, so we'll just go with the one then until we get the other ones to sync. So if that were what you wanted, again, you can go in, you can pull this and move it anywhere you want it to be. So if I want this to kind of be like in between those two, I can move it there. And again, it will rework the video to the beat of the music so that that all happens properly. All right, Terry, is there a fade in and out mode available from the video, from one video to the other? Yes, that is called crossfade, and I showed that earlier in the manual editor. Okay, so if you are, again, this gets back to if you're ready to go, then you could just share it with all the ways we talked about sharing a minute ago. Or in this case, I want to go turn off that one thing. You know what? Let me see if I turn it off in the preferences. It will get rid of it there. Let's try this. Preferences, off. There we go. Close. Okay. So I got rid of the watermark. Let's see if it gets rid of it off my project. And it did not. Apparently it's not retroactive. All right. Let's see if I make sure I got that off. Preferences. Good, good, good. Off, off, off. Good, no watermark at all. Let's see if it's still there. It's still there on this one, so I have to take it off manually again. Okay, so now if I got most of the way there with automatic, now I want to go tweak it. If I'm not ready to share it now, which I do want to go tweak it, that's where I tap the film strip, convert to the Freeform editor, and now I can go and turn off the watermark for this one. And it will be off for any future videos I created because I got rid of it. Okay, so now that this is off, and notice what it did to the drone footage. It basically chopped it up into little, smaller clips to match the beat of the music. So instead of that being one piece of drone footage, the 4th clip is drone footage, the 5th, the 6th, the 7th, the 8th, the 9th, the 10th, the 11th clip are all drone footage that it cut up automatically to match the beat of the music. So that is pretty cool that it does it that way. Had I brought that video clip in manually, then I'd have to go trim it and split it and trim it and split it everywhere that I wanted it to appear. So the automated way to start is a great way to start. And then you can always jump into manual to tweak it. So one of the things that someone brought up, a question they brought up earlier, they said, hey, can you crossfade between the clips? There's the button for it right there. As I said before, it's either on or off for everything. So it's all the clips will crossfade or all of them won't. It's all or nothing. And I do want to fade it in, fade it out to black. And then, of course, like I showed before, you can go ahead and add a title. You can add as many titles as you want. For some reason, it always wants to add the title as the second clip. Maybe that's a kind of a design preference there. And Iceland Magic. And so if I want to go ahead and make that my title, I can make that my title. And if I want to add another title, I can. So you can have as many titles as you want. Titles throughout your video project. So now I could say, made with Premiere Clip. And then, of course, I can pick that up and move it around. But what I'm not going to get now is by doing this manually like I'm doing now, I'm now breaking the sync to the music. Because as long as I add all these things in, which I don't get a chance to do with titles, but as long as I add all that stuff in while I'm in the automated mode, then it will resync everything to the music. But if I now go in and add more clips, add more photos, add more things, then it's just the default timing for each of those things. So, for example, the default timing for a title is 5 seconds. And that's going to not be synced to the music. Now, what you can do, though, if you double tap, you'll notice that there are the little dots. Those dots are the beats. So if you want to manually edit to the beat of the song is still there, but it just doesn't do it automatically. You would have to do it. So if I want to pull that back to not be as long, but also have it line up with the beat, I can. Same thing here. I want that to not be as long, and it looks like it is lining up to the beat. Maybe that is a feature now, but I can say make that a little shorter. So here, let's test it. Let's add in on the iPad here. Let's see if I can get anything here. Let's go to favorites. And let's add in that one. It's not downloaded. Okay, let's, where do I have a JPEG? Dropbox. Okay, let's go to Dropbox. Files. Iceland clip. And we'll just add one that's already there. But we add that one in again. Bring it in that one file. What I want to see is when it adds it, it's probably going to default it to 5 seconds, or in this case 2 seconds. And it looks like it is trying to line it up with the beat marker. So even if you do go in after, it still remembers the beat of the song and will do its best to keep it aligned. Now let's see what happens if I drag it to a different spot. That one's still to the beat. That one's still to the beat. That one's to the beat but longer. So I can say make that one short too. And so, or make that one maybe a little longer. Maybe there's some emphasis I want to put on that one image. So that's the other thing. These are all relatively short, a second or less. But let's say you want to spend some time on a particular photo. You can say, okay, I want this photo to stay on the screen longer. I'm just using my finger to pull out the purple marker. Hang on for a second. Maybe if I can grab it. There we go. I can say make that one stay on the screen 3 seconds instead of what it was set to originally. Or let's make that one stay on even longer. 4 seconds. Okay, so now let's try it the way it is. So this is our beginning. Again, we can put that title in the beginning or after. And we can now go full screen. There you have it. Your music video, all done with Premiere Clip on the iPad. And keep in mind, that was only one drone clip. That was only one that I got in so far. Let's see if the other one's synced. All right, we got another one that's synced. 672 is there, so let's see if we can add that one in. We'll add in from Dropbox. And we'll go to Iceland, clip, drone. 672 is there. We'll go ahead and bring it down. And it's a big video, so it's going to take a few minutes to do it. Now, but what I won't get is the magic of it cutting it all up. So what I would recommend is that you put it all together in one spot, like all the footage you're going to use, all the stills, all the videos, put them in one place. That way, when you create your initial clip using the automated to a song, even with your videos, it'll do a nice job cutting your videos up to the beat so that you don't have to do it manually. So if I were to do this all over again, the only change I would make is that in this folder, this Iceland clip folder, I wouldn't even put the drone footage in a separate folder. I would just put it all together in one spot. Let's get rid of the drone folder. That way, when I bring it in, it'll bring it all in together and the videos will be cut up. And therefore, you're fine. When exporting JPEGs for clip is 72 dpi, okay, that's exactly what I did. They were 72 dpi. All right, so once again, here, we'll cancel that. We'll close it. All right. Last time, this will be fast. Well, actually, it won't be fast, but just to show you the walkthrough one last time, I'm going to bring it all in from one spot, new project, from Dropbox, or Creative Cloud, or Lightroom if you have JPEGs. But if you're going to mix video and stills, probably best to put them either all on your device or all in a cloud folder that it can get to. We're going to go to Iceland Clip. And so there's the MP4s. It sees those now. And the other one did sync. And so let's just not do as many stills. Let's just do a few. We'll just go all the way down to the videos. There we go. And we'll do both of those. Wait, are those the same ones? No, they're different. Okay. All right, yeah, these are different videos. So let's, matter of fact, just for the sake of time, let's only do one of them. Let's do the shorter one, which is not that one. All right. So now, oh, sorry, you weren't seeing all that. So now we'll add those 13 items in. Automate it. shouldn't have the watermark now because I completely got rid of it. So this should be the way it should work. All right, any other questions while we're waiting for that to download? And yes, if you do include your own song, it will match, it will detect the beat of your music as well. Do you have to use Dropbox? No, you don't. You can use any one of those sources, including just putting all the media on your device. My problem was the media isn't on the device, it's in the cloud, and Premiere Clip can't download it from the cloud, from Apple's cloud. It can only download it from Creative Cloud or Lightroom. So we'll recap some of this while we're waiting. So for those of you who just got here, one of the things I did to make the stills better, instead of keeping them in their 4:3 aspect ratio, I went into Lightroom, made a collection. Here we can show this while we're waiting for that to finish. Made a collection of virtual copies and cropped them all to 16:9. So that way they fit the video format perfectly. If you don't want to crop your images, you don't have to, but then just keep in mind if they don't fit 16:9, you're going to have black bars on the sides or the top and bottom. It's totally up to you. Random, but is using CC stuff okay for portfolios? It depends on what you mean by CC stuff. So what do you mean by CC stuff? Creative Commons. Well, it depends on how you're using it. If you're claiming it's yours, then no, it's not. It's not good for your portfolio. If you used it as part of a project, like a stock photo that you might have used as part of something else you were making, like a composite, it depends again on what you're trying to sell. Meaning, if you're saying, "Hey, here's my compositing skills, and I used all, Creative Commons or royalty-free stuff," that's one thing. But if you're trying to say, "Hey, this is my photography," then that's not true. So it just really depends on what you're doing. So the answer is yes, if you're giving proper credit to the things that aren't really yours. This is going to be your slideshow app, just like Post. It's fast and clean enough. Usually 10 to 15 photos are enough. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, it's almost done. So let's go back to Clip. It's on the last thing, which is probably the video. Yeah, that's another way to get past the title thing. You can make much prettier titles in Photoshop and just add those in as part of the package. So I didn't have to go to the Freeform editor and add the titles there if the titles were already images. So if the titles were part of the image assets that I wanted to bring in as JPEGs, then I'd already have my titles ready to go. So that's a great tip, B. Dungan. All right, so here we are. So again, if I were to, I don't even know what soundtrack it defaulted to, but let's try it. Okay, not one that I would use. Oh, it didn't really do much on that particular drone clip either. Let's see. Yeah, it just brought in that one clip. It didn't cut it up. All right, let's go back. And let's replace the soundtrack. Let's go back to the one I like. Yeah, let's go back to that one. All right, let's add it in. And let's see what happens. Yeah, it didn't do anything fancy. That clip might be too short. It didn't do anything fancy with it. But let's go ahead and move it over. And let's add in, you know what? Let's add in one more, the one that is on the iPad. All right, let's add that one back in. See, that one is a minute long, so that's why it does what it does with it. All right, so that one came in. And let's go done. And now let's see what happens. there you have it. So yeah, if the titles were there, I'd almost be ready to go. But again, I'd still want to switch to the Freeform editor for one more thing. Even if I wasn't going to do my titles there's one more thing I would switch to the Freeform editor for. And let me show you. If I go to the Freeform editor, let's say I'm all done, everything looks good, I would still need to go there for the things that, oh, not in share, the things that I would want, like fade in from black, fade out to black, and adding a look to it if I wanted to. So even if I'm not going to do the slides or the titles, I still would come back for this. So I guess I'm always going to end up in the Freeform editor once the automated part is done, just to put on the finishing touches. Now, this is the way it would look. I just like the way it cuts up that 1 minute drone clip and makes it look the way it looks. It's just awesome that it does it that way. So that's Premiere Clip. We got about 20 or 32 minutes left, so we'll get into another app, but this is the Premiere Clip demo I've been wanting to do for a while now, and I finally got through it all. So that was Adobe Premiere Clip, available for iOS and Android. Can take advantage of your assets no matter where they are, provided they're in the right format. And you can mix together your stills, your videos, your music if you want, or you can use the music that's built in. Speaking of music, I want to show you one more thing before we move off clip. Let me see if I can get to it first before I talk about it here. Let's go. I want to show you a website where you can get free, royalty-free music for your projects. Because nothing's more frustrating than you make this perfect video and you want to upload it to like YouTube, and YouTube blocks it or some other source blocks it because the music is not royalty-free. So that's definitely a frustrating thing. All right, here, let me just go into one of these. So I'm going to show you where you can get dozens of tracks to be able to use with your music. Or use with your videos, I should say. Okay, let me show you where it is. All right, so here's my YouTube channel. And here's the video from Tuesday, which is already up on YouTube. But if I go to edit that video, and I go over here on the left-hand side under the Create button. So this is after you've uploaded at least one video on YouTube. Maybe there's a way to get to it another way, but this is the way I know to get to it right off the bat. If I click on Create, there is an audio library with literally dozens, if not hundreds of tracks. And what you can do is you can search based on attribution, not required, meaning it does not require me to say this song is by so-and-so. I can even search for a specific duration, like I'm looking for only songs that are at least 2 minutes to 2.5 minutes long. And I can say, give me the mood, looking for something funky. And once I find the song I like, which I can preview any of them, then I can just download them. So YouTube provides you with a music library for you to use to put in your videos. So if I download all these first, then use them in my Premiere Clip, when I go put my Premiere Clip back on YouTube, I don't have to worry about the music. I don't have to use the 5 or 6 songs that are 10 songs or how many ever songs that are in Premiere Clip, because I'm going to get tired of those eventually. I can use these and have an endless supply of songs that I can use something different every single time. So I absolutely, absolutely love what they've done here. Also, if you tap, I did say funky. If you tap on the little play button, you can also see if this song is free to monetize as well. So this is, and actually I have to give credit where credit's due. This was discovered by a friend of mine, Larry Becker. Larry's a great video guy, and he shared this on one of his periscopes, and I've been using it ever since. So this is not my knowledge bomb. It's more Larry's knowledge bomb that I stole and I'm now giving credit to. But this, I cannot tell you how valuable this library is for me. And the fact that I can, anytime I need a song, I don't have to worry about, oh my God, is this going to be blocked? Am I violating someone's copyright? Am I using a song without permission? I can just come get songs here all day long and just use it. All right. I know that royalty-free music is available, but this is easy and truly safe source to choose, or safe source to choose from. Yes, it is. Because again, YouTube wants you to be successful. They want you to put videos up there that have music in it that you don't have to worry about. So they're providing you with a library of music you don't have to worry about. And when in doubt, if you're especially going to monetize your video, you can check the song to see if it's okay to monetize. So if I click on this one, twirl it down, yep, I can monetize. Most of them, if you did the attribution not required, most of them will be available for you to monetize. And the other thing I like is, I don't know how long each one of these is, so just show me the ones that will be long enough for my project. That way I don't have to worry about it. Show me my project's 3 minutes long, show me all the ones that are at least 3 minutes long. Love it. Okay, so that was Premiere Clip and a bonus with the music that you can have to play with. All right, next up, let's see here. Oh, did I not do that? I did not do that. All right, let's do that. Okay, let's get that off screen. Where can I find the songs? You can find the songs on YouTube. So just go to YouTube and click on edit, like to edit one of your videos, and it'll be on the, here, I'll show you again. It'll be on the left-hand side under the create area. Or just youtube.com, auto library /music. Here, let me just paste that into the chat. That's even a faster way to get to it. Let's see if I can put that link. All right, there you go. You have the link now. All right, so that was Premiere Clip. Let me get out of Clip now. I'm going to close that project. And notice, by the way, before I get out of Clip, notice that that is syncing every project I've done. So it's syncing all of those projects so they will be available to me on my iPhone, on the iPhone. And I don't need all of them, so let me go ahead and clean this up a little bit. Let me delete the ones that I'm not going to need. So that's not spending time syncing all that stuff. Wrong one. Over to my other devices. Actually, we'll keep both of those. All right. So let's go ahead and get out of Premiere Clip. Now let's talk a little bit about, I said I was going to do Photoshop Fix, right? So let's do Photoshop Fix. Now, Photoshop Fix is the closest thing to a retouching app or the retouching features of Photoshop on your mobile devices. In this case, Premiere Clip was available for iOS and Android. Currently, Photoshop Fix is only on iOS until it gets to Android. All right, so this is one of those iOS only ones. There's two ways to use Fix. You can either just launch Fix and go grab a photo and use it even if the photo's on Lightroom. Or you can use it the way you would use it on the desktop from Lightroom. You can say, hey, I want to do this one thing that Lightroom doesn't do let me hop over to Photoshop Fix and do it and come back. So you can do it either way. So for example, if I were in Lightroom first, and let me jump to the right collection here. Let's see, we want to go to Maggie's edits. There we are. And those are coming down now. If I wanted to go to this, edit this particular photo in Lightroom, I'm here. I'm in all the editing controls I have. But if I wanted to fix or clone or do something that's pixel related, as we know, Lightroom doesn't do those things. So what I can do is in the upper right hand corner, there is the share icon. There we go. There is an open in. No, I'm sorry, edit in. Edit in, just like in Lightroom on the desktop. If I go to edit in, it lets me choose now the resolution that I want to edit in. So I want to edit it in the maximum resolution. And then it will should give me a choice of which app to edit it in, or I'm sorry, which choice I can edit it with. So for example, she's a ballerina, so she's got muscular shoulders. So let's say I wanted to smooth her left shoulder down a little bit to match the right shoulder. I just want to push it down a little bit. Well, that would be a liquefy operation that Lightroom just doesn't do. So if I wanted to liquefy that shoulder, I would just tap liquefy and it takes me over to Photoshop Fix and opens up that image. It turned on face aware liquefy because it detected a face. And remember I said face aware liquefy originated here, but I would just go to warp. Let me bring my iPad over. I would change the brush size to be about the size of the thing I want to warp. And I'm now using my Apple Pencil, which you can use your finger. You don't have to use your Apple Pencil. If you don't have an Apple Pencil, you won't be able to use it. And just even that down. So that way it looks more even like the one on the other side. Now, once I'm done, just like in Photoshop on the desktop, you would do everything, make all your layers, do all your edits, and when you save and close, it would make that new file over in the same collection back in Lightroom. So you notice at the very top, it says save and return to Adobe Lightroom. So if I were to do that, it takes me back to Lightroom, takes me right back to the same exact collection, and it's now syncing or adding a copy of it to this collection. So there should be one that appears right next to it, and there it is. So now I have the original still. There's the original, and there's the one I adjusted slightly in Lightroom or in Photoshop Fix. So that's one way to use Photoshop Fix from Lightroom, just like you would on the desktop. Edit in Adobe Photoshop CC on the desktop, edit in Adobe Photoshop Fix on iOS, and come back, round trip it back. And that will give me the file that, for whatever reason, it's giving me a ping file. That's interesting. That will give me the file that way. Now, the other way to do it, let's just get out of Lightroom for a minute. The other way to do it would be to just go to Photoshop Fix, and you'll see your projects there. And notice it didn't save that other project because I didn't start here. It's just basically kind of a quick, do something cool or do something you need to do and return it back to its original source. So it didn't originate here, therefore it's not a project for Photoshop Fix. All right, so what I'm going to do is I've got Photoshop Fix open, just like I showed in Premiere Clip. The interface kind of looks the same. On the left-hand side is where I would tap the plus sign to create something new. I get my same source choices of where I want to get things, including Lightroom. It will let me bring in my Lightroom assets. And let's give it a second to read my collections there. And if I scroll, let it finish loading those. If I scroll, there's my Maggie edits. And these are the same images we were just looking at. So now I could go back to either that original or the one that I had edited so far, but let's start with the original. And if I open it now, I'm telling it to bring in a copy from Lightroom. I can do anything, not just liquefy, anything I want here in Photoshop Fix. And when I save it, I can return it back to Lightroom if I want to, or just save it here and export it to the camera roll, or share it to Photoshop, save it to Lightroom, save it to a CC library, post it to Instagram, Facebook, or just save it to the camera roll. So you can do anything you want. All right, so let's say that we wanted to do some retouching here. Let's jump up here where I see some hair sticking up here at the very top. Flyaway hair, as we call it. So I can go to the healing brush just like I would on the desktop version or Photoshop. So I can go in and maybe heal some of that hair, or what would probably be faster is the clone stamp. And the clone stamp, instead of, you don't really have an option or alt tap first. So all you do is tap where you want to clone from, and then that will be your clone source. So there's no option. You just tap first, and then as you start cloning, that's where you're picking up from. And of course, you have brush size and hardness on the left-hand side if you want to change any of those things. Same thing, I can tap first on the right-hand side, and then go in. Oops, sorry. I tapped twice. Go in and start cloning the flyaway hairs away. When it comes to blemishes, as you know, my favorite tool is the spot removal tool, or I'm sorry, the spot healing brush. Works very much the same. And using the Apple Pencil makes it a very precise kind of edit. Move some of the lines there, some of the shadows from the, oh, that was bad, undo, undo. And yes, you can zoom in, by the way. You can get a crazy magnification zoom if you want. And continue removing minor blemishes. All right. Where it gets a little difficult and where it may not be as easy is when you need to remove something like that. We got a strap problem. So if I want to remove that strap, and I've tried this in Photoshop Fix already. I know how difficult this particular edit is. The problem is, if I want to clone, I got to be careful because the lighting, like her skin tone is lighter at the top than it is down further. So I would have to keep it aligned for that. If I want to patch it, I can get rid of a lot of it quicker that way. The healing brush doesn't quite do it. It's like I would have to do multiple things to kind of clean that up a little bit, or to remove that. So let's try it. So for example, I could just increase my brush size with the healing brush and say, let's heal it, as much of it as we can, and see what happens. Not bad, not great, but not bad. But now you're running into that lighting problem that I talked about, where the skin tone is not quite matching. And then you run into issues like that. So not horrible at the end of the day. As a matter of fact, it's coming out better this time than the first time I tried this. All right, this was already here. So let's see if we can fix this. All right, not bad. Okay, so now to clean that up a little bit more, I would probably switch over to the clone stamp tool, tap literally right next to it, and tap on this side and kind of just restore that back in. And then tap on that side. And I think we got it. All right. All right, I was worried about that more than I should have been, I guess. Little hairs, stray hairs. Oh, believe me, that came out great, but it wasn't easy. You should have saw the first time I did it. It took a lot longer, and I was a lot more frustrated. So I was kind of bracing myself for being frustrated again. Sometimes you just get lucky, Eunice. Oh, see, like that was unlucky. Now, keep in mind that at the very top, you've got before and after. So that's the before. That's the after of everything I've done so far since I've been in this mode. Tapping the before and after here at the top of the display. And also, even if you, let's say I do this. Let's say I make a mistake and I go crazy. Oh, it actually worked out right. Let's say I do something crazy there, and I want to restore that. You've got the equivalent of the history brush in any of these modes. It's called restore. So if I go to restore, I can just brush that back in. Even if I missed it later, like if I come back and say, oh, that would be several undos back, you could just grab the restore and just restore that one part without having to undo everything. So I love that because it reminds me of the history brush inside Photoshop CC. All right, so then let's see. Okay, we got that. And all right, so now this one has the same liquefy issue, but let me make sure I got all my healing brush things I want to take care of first. And the healing brush in Photoshop Fix is pretty magical. And Photoshop Fix is available on iPhone and iPad. It originally was an iPad only app, and then it came out for the phone. And I was very happy it came out for the phone because I'm using my phone for mobile photography and not my iPad. So it made more sense to be able to repair pictures or fix pictures on my phone, not my iPad. Even though the iPad's a much bigger display, better display, my images, the ones that need fixing, are on the iPhone, not the iPad. There we go. And like I said, you can zoom in to your heart's content. And you can really get a crazy level of zoom. All right. So now, once I'm done with this operation, I go ahead and click OK. And then it takes me back to the rest of the tool. So I'm not saying I'm done. And notice it underline the healing brush as one of the things that it did that has actually a layer to it. All right, so now I want to go into liquefy. And liquefy is face aware. Now, she doesn't need any face aware liquefy, but I just want to show you that this is where this originated from. So for example, it detected her face. I can tap on her, I don't know, her eyes, for example, and it gives me all the eye controls. So if I want to adjust the height, I can adjust the height of her eyes. So it's kind of raising her eyelids up a little bit, bringing her eyelids down. Again, this is not something she needed. I just wanted to show you where face aware liquefy came from before it made it into Photoshop. If I want to adjust the width of her eyes. Again, not something as subtle, not something she needs, but just to play around with. The size, make her eye bigger, make her eye smaller. The face aware liquefy originated here. I'm going to cancel out of all that. Cancel. Just to show you, I just want to show you that was there. But now let's go back into liquefy. And let's go back to warp. And same thing, brush size, about where I want it. And then we're just going to push that down just a little bit. There we go. So it's just like the one on the other side. Just like that. Okay. Great. Great, great, great. And oh, she got lipstick on the teeth. Go back to the healing brush. And spot heal that lipstick off her tooth. Now, if the healing's not doing it the way you want, if you just do one stroke or more with a healing brush, that turns into patch. So now I can pick that patch up and patch it from the other tooth that doesn't have it. So you do have the patch tool, but the patch tool in Photoshop works as a selection. Here it works starting with the healing brush and then turning it into patch when you're ready. So like right here, if I want to patch that, then I would just use the brush and then switch to the patch tool to make my patch from that spot. Undo. All right. All right, once you're done, if you're done with everything, you can of course say okay to the last thing you did. If you're done with everything, then you can share it out any way you want or send it back to Lightroom if you want. You do have basic adjustments here. Again, most of this like exposure, contrast, saturation, shadows, highlights, I would do all that in Lightroom. Since the photo is in Lightroom, the only reason I would do it here is this photo I took with my camera and it's not in Lightroom. But all that kind of global stuff I would just do in Lightroom. You do have sharpening and smoothing. So for example, like her eyes, I want to make it just a little sharper. So it's just one of the signature things I do. And here, let's see if we can do before now. So that's before, looks a little duller. That's after, looks a little sharper. All right, before and after. And always check the before and after if it doesn't look like you're doing anything to make sure you are in fact doing something. You've got kind of a defocus feature and a vignette feature as well. The defocus feature, if you're trying to bring the focus in on a certain spot and defocus another spot, like trying to create like a little bit of more depth of field or a fake depth of field, depending on what you need to do. You've got defocus here, but there isn't really a background to work with, so I'm not going to worry about that. And then of course you've got good old vignette. Again, this is something I would go ahead and do while I was in Lightroom, but just to show you, you can do it here in Fix as well. So you can bring that in and change, basically making the spotlight anywhere you want. Pick it up, move it around, walk around with your flashlight on your image. And if you wanted a vignette, you have a vignette feature. The paint feature allows me to colorize an object. So for example, it's on a blue color here. If I just start painting, I could change this from red to blue. Very precise. I'm not even zooming in, but if I was zooming in, of course, I'd get right to that edge. I went over the edge that part because I didn't zoom in. But you get the idea. If I kept going, you would never know this shirt was red. So it does a really good job. Sorry about that. My screen's going to sleep. All right, you get the idea. So coloring, and let's go ahead and undo, put that back. And I've even seen people use it for things like hair. If you want to see what you look like with blue hair, this would be the safe way to try it. And no, it doesn't have to be blue. Pick whatever color you want. But it just doesn't, and again, I'm not taking my time and zooming in because I only got a couple minutes left. But if I were to zoom in and really pay attention to the edges, this does an amazing job of changing the color of objects. Matter of fact, especially with the Apple Pencil, I would actually bring things into Photoshop Fix to change their color faster than I would do it in Photoshop. Now, where I went over the edge, like I said, keep in mind you've got the restore. So all I'd have to do is just brush it off the edge. And then where I didn't get close enough, or I took it off the edge too much, this is why we zoom in, because you can do a much better job zoomed in. Restore. Restore is your undo on a brush. All right. How did I just do what? How did I just do that? How did I just do what? I'm still using the paint feature and switching between the paintbrush and the restore. I can also pick a color. So I just picked a color from her shirt. Sorry, pick a color, then go back to painting. And then we can do that as well. It can be crazy. All right, no, we're not keeping any of this. I just wanted to show you what was possible. I don't think Maggie would appreciate my dye job, especially since I'm not really paying attention to the edges. Is it possible to work on an iPad that isn't an iPad Pro with an Apple Pen? No, it is not. The Apple Pencil is not just the pencil, it's built into the actual display of the iPad Pro as well. So using this on a regular iPad would do nothing. What program is this? Is it Photoshop? It is Photoshop Fix. Free on iOS. All right, so now that, like I said, now that I'm done with this, in my last 45 seconds left before we turn it over, I could share it out. I could even send it to Photoshop to continue, Photoshop on a desktop to continue working with it. So it will take everything I did, layers and all, because it's creating layers for me automatically, and send that as a Photoshop editable file to the desktop. Or if I'm done, then I can just share it as is, save it to the camera roll, share it to social media, or send the finished version to Lightroom as well. So right now it's syncing that, and in my last 8 seconds, will it finish, will it finish, will it finish? Go check out Photoshop Fix for hello, I'm fine, and for iOS. Rendering to PSD, rendering to PSD, and come on, send. Okay, I just want to show you one last menu option, and that would be save to Lightroom. All right, so now it's doing the same thing, just saving the copy to Lightroom. That will put it in a brand new collection if I didn't already have it, called Photoshop Fix. So make it a Lightroom sync collection and just do it. All right, with that, I'm out of time. I'll be back next Tuesday, same time, same channel. We'll see you then. Guys, take care. And next up, I believe, is Beetlejuice. And